Inner Peace Press, bringing soul stories to life.
Hello and welcome to Inner Peace Press's YouTube channel. We have again with us today Anessa Arehart, author of the book Finding Everyday Magic, A Journey of Hope and Healing Through Nature, which is a beautiful hardcover book that features 520 images and dozens of pages of text with Anessa's story. Anessa, today I hope that you would like to talk about the wall calendar that we created in celebration of the book.
I would love to talk about the wall calendar.
Okay, great. We made a few products in association with your book. We have note cards, we have bookmarks, we have actually paper coasters, we have the wall calendar, and soon to come will be some inspiration cards. So I know that you use a paper calendar. I'm curious, have you always used a paper calendar, and why do you prefer paper to an electric calendar?
Yes, you are right. I remember, I think the first time you were like, I said, let me go write that down on the calendar. And you're like, write it down. Yeah, it's really, nobody does that. Well, not nobody, but a lot of people don't do that anymore. It is a little unusual. And there are very specific reasons, of course, that I love my paper calendar. One is nostalgia. Of course. And maybe it's because I am an artist. I'm a painter and I draw and I carve and things like that. I like writing things down with a pen and paper. It matters to me what pen I use. I draw on my calendar. I doodle on my calendar. It's kind of a small little piece of art in itself, in a way. It becomes art throughout the year. The other thing is that for someone with a slightly compromised memory, the act of writing things down helps me. It helps me retain information a little bit better than just like typing, clicking away in a little, well, as you can see, I have to write things down to keep them in my brain, but it works. And then another reason that I love paper calendars is because I save them. And I love to happen upon them later on down the road, a few years later, and say, oh my gosh, look where I was, and, see little memories and little drawings and things that were important to me, and to see how far I've come or how my direction has changed, things like that. Particularly when you see just the passing of time. Oh, my cat just jumped up here. There's Holly.
Hi, Holly.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's yeah. I love paper calendars.
Do you go back? Do you go back on a regular basis, or sometimes you're looking for something, and so you keep them all together?
Well, no, I'm not that organized, but just kind of, I shove them up on the bookshelf at the end of the year. And then it's kind of like whenever you move or if you rearrange a room or something, I end up getting distracted. And instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I sit down and relive a year from like 1997 or something.
That's
I don't
great.
know. They take up a lot of room. It's kind of like a journal, but I have not been real consistent with journals. So I kind of treat my paper calendars as a type of journal. And
I
I've
love
got a
that.
thought about that later.
All right, good. And I forgot to mention that you're sitting with in Little Wing Hollow, right? With the creek behind you there. Some beautiful
Yes,
lighting as the sun's going down.
thank you.
So
Yeah, it's really, it's a little bit chilly. It's beautiful. And my cat wants to be part of the interview. This is
that's
Holly, who
great.
was found as a stray by kayakers on the Chaplin River.
Mm.
They came back and I was like, oh, congratulations, you have a kitten. They're like, no, you have a kitten. So that was 8 years
Nice.
ago.
Good story.
Yeah,
So back to the calendar. So just open this up for people to see a little bit. So each month has 3 or 4 images, the major holidays, and we've included also the new moons and the full moons. And we're going to talk about one other thing in just a minute, but I want to go up to October here. I had a question. So I noticed, in the book that you have a number of images that capture sunlight coming through tree branches or raindrops or even a dandelion, like here is in August. What draws you to these moments, do you think?
I think that, symbolically, light. I talk a lot in the book, Finding Everyday Magic, about finding my way out of the darkness. And it was not literal darkness. It was mental kind of, I was just in a dark place. And so light was very appealing to me, the idea of illuminating the path ahead. The promise of a new day, when the sun comes up. We just had the winter solstice yesterday. And although I think that darkness is important, you can't have light without dark. And darkness is good for resting and, kind of slowing down and looking within and that sort of thing. But I can't lie, the winter solstice and knowing that the days are going to get longer and brighter and more sunshine and the light, I'm always drawn to that, because I'm a hopeless romantic and I like the idea of like endless opportunity and just, lightness of being. So I think when I talk about finding everyday magic and capturing magic, light always delivers those feelings for me. I do try to capture some photos in the dark, the night skies, they're beautiful in their own way. But even then, the stars are peeking through. So I don't know, I'm drawn to the light like a little moth.
Nice. I love that. I love that. I love the part that you said about the lighting the path, so that you can see what's to come, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I'd like to now jump to September and look at this picture here with photograph here with your boots and some raindrops coming into the puddle. This is one of, I think, both of our favorite photos in the book. I was wondering, what do you remember about this particular moment?
I am always trying to talk about, and I mentioned it in the book. I mentioned it to anyone that will even give me 5 minutes to bend their ear. I'm always talking about the rhythm of nature and the subtle, gentle energy, healing energy, vibrations, rhythm, all of that. And I realized that is kind of hard to grasp, or it might seem really kind of far out to people that don't spend a lot of time in nature doing nothing but, communing, being quiet, meditating. So when I was taking that photo, I was actually down in the riverbed behind me and it was raining. It wasn't raining when I went out with my camera. It started raining while I was out there. And it was basically what I'm always trying to explain to people. It was happening right there around me, but it was amplified 1,000 times. All the senses. It was that gentle healing rhythm, energy, vibrations, and I was receiving them visually through my eyes of watching the rain hit it was very hypnotizing and mesmerizing and beautiful. At the same time, the sound of the rain hitting the water was lovely. And then the feeling of it actually on my body. I wasn't wearing a raincoat or a jacket. I think I was in a tank top. And it was surprising and beautiful and unexpected. And it was nearly psychedelic in a way, because I was so plugged in at the moment out there taking photos. And then this little gift just happened. The whole sky opened up and everything changed. The energy changed. And it was, this is what I'm trying to tell people about. So, I did my best to capture it in a photo. Particularly the other thing that I like about that photo is it reminds me of my childhood and being a child. And, why don't we go stare at puddles and splash around in puddles? Just because you get older, you don't have to quit doing that. And so maybe someone will see that photo and think, I think I can go splash in a puddle today.
Nice.
So
Which brings me
those
to
are
my
kind of
next
my
question.
thoughts.
I love it. I love it. And I haven't asked you about many specific images. So I
Yeah.
also love getting to know more about the experiences that you had.
Well, goodness, Heather, I got a story for everything. So
That's what I'm learning.
as you know, you're like, wrap it up, wrap it up.
Yep. One more
Yeah.
question. One more question. Okay. So I mentioned about the dates. We have holidays and then the moon cycles and such. So we also added to the calendar finding everyday magic day each month. It's probably not going to be able to focus here, but we made a little star, and it has, for example, watch the clouds go by. So
Yes.
hopefully people will buy the wall calendar and use it to bring some joy and calm into their daily lives in 2022. What do you think about people adding their own magic days to your wall calendar once they have it hanging at
If
home?
they do that, yes, I hope they do, because like I was saying, I hope it becomes a little work of art, like kind of a journal for them. And I hope those prompts get them out there to do just the simplest things like, hey, the sky's up there, but when's the last time you just went out there with the intention of doing nothing but looking at the sky? A lot of people surprisingly never do that. Maybe they'll come out and say, oh, looks like rain, whatever, but they don't just sit there and appreciate it and do nothing. And so I think that the prompts will be good if it encourages them to schedule, which I write about in my book. Schedule time for nature. Hug a tree today. Like, I would love, nothing would make me happier than to know someone actually said, look at tree, hug tree, 5:15 to 5:30. And then actually, instead of just making it a good idea, make it a reality. It's important. It's so important for people to get out there and engage and plug in. And I think it would, here I go, solve so many problems for so many people. And it's so simple and it's free and it's accessible to most people, even in the city. You go outside, there's always like a little dandelion popping up through those cracks in the concrete saying, hey, look at me. I'm surviving. It's a little tenacious, little beautiful gift. Don't give up. So no, I hope people do write in the calendar. I hope it turns into a journal. I hope they get as nostalgic and romantic when they tuck it away on their bookshelf and find it a few years later and say, oh my gosh, this was the beginning of my healing journey when I started engaging intentionally with nature. So, I'm idealistic, and hopeful. But like I always say, it changed me. And it's such a simple thing. So if a calendar on a wall that you have to draw a little picture on, or, if that does the trick, and everybody needs a calendar, so not only they're beautiful photos, but I hope it's more than that to people. Its intention is more than
exactly. That's what I saw it as from the beginning. Every month, month after month, you get the reminder to be intentional with this experience of life. And I love what you said about looking up at the sky, because even in the city, there's always the sky. It's there somewhere. Maybe there's not grass,
yes.
maybe there's not a lot of trees, but just as you say, witnessing it, we look at it, we say, oh yes, it's blue. Yes, it's confirmed, right? But where does the sky go? What is connected to it? How does it bring us all together in a way?
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I know. And that's the other thing, actually, not to drag on about it, but you're asking about light. That's the other thing that I think connects all of us is the sun. It's amazing to me that something so far away, affects our daily lives and every little thing it touches. And it's just I don't know. It's very deep to me. So
Well,
anyway.
isn't the moon also connecting us?
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean,
And it
especially in terms. Go ahead.
yes, I know. Yeah, and it really affects my mood too. Yeah, it's we were talking about this the other day actually. The moon affects my dreams, it affects everything, and so I love that we um have a photo of the moon in the calendar. And I think people paying attention to the moon phases is kind of a neat idea, and a lot of people have never even considered it. There you go.
We've got December end. We end with the moon and we start with the moon in January. So
I love it. I'm in
definitely
love with
about the moon.
that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Anessa, for sharing some insight into the wall calendar and a little bit more about your book, Finding Everyday Magic. Thank you, viewers, for joining in and watching. Please subscribe and like this video and the channel. And then you'll be advised of when we have new videos. Right. Thank you very much, Anessa. See you next time.
Oh gosh, you're welcome. Thanks so much. And I hope we sell lots of calendars and people enjoy them. And let us know. Let us know, where you hang it. And I hope you're reminded of nature's magic every day. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you. All right. Bye.